Job chapter 42. This is the final chapter of the book of Job, in fact. So now Job gets to respond to this amazing revelation that he has been given by God. Verse 1, Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that thou canst do everything, and that no thought can be withholden from thee. Who is he that hideth counsel without knowledge? Therefore have I uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful for me which I knew not. So Job's going, I know, God, you are all powerful and all knowledgeable and amazing, and I have admitted that. And I know that I don't know everything. I am in a position where I need to learn more. He says, verse 4, Hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. Wherefore I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes. So Job sees God in this revelation. So this is a very important revelation that he is given, that if he can see God, see the Christ, basically, that is kind of a calling election made sure type idea, type of a thing. And this is basically coming together. If you look at this phraseology of what God has said these last few chapters, it's, I know what I'm doing. Basically, as God, I understand these things. I know what I'm doing. And Job's going, yes, I know you know what you're doing, and I'm here to learn more about why you're doing it and what's happening. And so God is revealing himself to him because Job has proven faithful. That's what the original bet was, that Job would curse God and die. And Job hasn't. He hasn't taken his own life, even though he's sick and wicked, or not wicked, but sick and troubled, and has all these problems and challenges going on. He didn't take his own life. He sought to do and accept the will of God in what he was experiencing. And that's powerful. That's amazing. And so God has helped him clarify this philosophical discussion that he's had with his friends, and understand that God is in charge of all of it. He knows what's going on, and it's all taken care of. So now Job is like, oh, I understand, wisdom is my eyes are opened. I can see the Lord. I can understand things clearer. Verse 7, And it was so that after the Lord had spoken these words unto Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, My wrath is kindled against thee, and against thy two friends, for ye have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job hath. So they're getting reproved. So if this is a vision for Job, then apparently they are involved in this as well. They're all seeing this vision expand. Job might be seeing more than they are because they're not worthy to see God, whereas Job would be worthy to see God. So they're saying, he's like, you guys are wrong in your understanding, basically. I need to teach you. You're incorrect. You need to change your thoughts. Verse 8, Therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you, for him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly, in that ye have not spoken of me the thing which is right, like my servant Job. So he says, Eliphaz, your philosophy, your perspective wasn't correct. You're incorrect. You need to repent of what you're doing and offer the sacrifices, and Job will pray for you because I have accepted him. So he can help. Verse 9, So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did according as the Lord commanded them. The Lord also accepted Job. And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then came there unto him all his brethren, and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house, and they bemoaned him, and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So he got everything back, basically. Yay, the animal's back. I have servants. I'm prosperous. I'm back up on things. I got more children now. He probably had another wife, and so he had more children and built up his family again and had abundance. This is not necessarily an instantaneous thing. This probably took a long time to happen, but he's getting it back, and God is blessing him because he was successful at staying righteous through the trials and challenges that he experienced. Basically, so important, the overarching idea of when we have a crisis of faith, if we trust in God, we might not know the answer, we might not fully understand, but God eventually will help us understand and know the truth. And that's what we hold out for, is the truth. If we get stuck and we challenge it and we think, I need logic, I'm not going to listen to God, I need to do it myself, that's when we have problems. So having a crisis of faith is about learning to rely on God. It's not bad to have a crisis of faith from time to time, but it's important to learn, as Job is teaching us, that relying on God through the faith. I don't know what the crisis is, I don't know the answer, but I rely on God that He knows it. And if I keep doing His will, I keep putting my trust in Him, it will eventually work out. When? I don't know. This life, next life, I don't know. But I trust that God will help me work it out. And then God will, when that test is done, you have answered the question of the test, you can then receive the witnesses of what was right and how that worked out. So it's really cool, this kind of an overarching analogy that we get out of this book. Verse 12, so the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, meaning his later years, he was more blessed than his earlier years. For he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Jemimah, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Keren Hapok. And in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. Which is actually interesting that he gave them inheritance, because usually the women didn't get an inheritance that much, but he gave them extra lands and their names. I don't know the exact translation of their names, but I'm sure it's about abundance and blessings and prosperity that they've been given, seeking the getting those blessings of God. Verse 16, and after this, Job lived 140 years and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died, being old and full of days. Boy, what a life. What a life. So I'm looking forward to the comments to hearing what you think of this overarching idea that we learn from Job. How can that help you in your life as you go through challenges and experience problems? Do you rely on God? Do you see it through and keep relying on God? Even if it doesn't look like there's an end in sight, you still trust in God. I know that like what Job said, I don't know why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing, but I know I need to keep pressing forward with my faith in God, and He will eventually help me with this. And so that's a really great lesson for the rest of us. I look forward to reading your comments about that, and we'll see you in the next book of the Old Testament.